Welcome back everybody, my name is Awais and welcome to another video on the channel. Today I've got one announcement to make, which is I'm actually going to start creating videos on Apple softwares as well. So because I switched from Windows to Mac, and from now on you will be seeing my videos on a Mac. So I'll be recording all my web development tutorials. My mobile application development is coming as well for iOS and Android. I'll be showing you on the Mac as well. But today I'm starting from the basic software, which you get for free if you own Mac. So if you are willing to buy a Mac and you'll be considering to use Mac for your uni, in which you need some basic softwares. For example, you need to create some presentations, you need to have a word processing software, you need to have, some people need Excel as well. So these three softwares are compulsory for a student. So I'll be teaching you how to use Pages in this video, which is a word processing software, and then the next video will be on a Keynote and then Numbers, and we go from there. So I'm gonna be making a lot of videos on Apple softwares and I'm really excited about it. So yeah, let's go and start with the Pages, and this is the first video in this series. Alright guys, so let's start with the Pages. I'm gonna click on Pages and it's gonna start the application. Now in these Pages, when you start your application, this is what you see. There is no fancy looking welcome window. So it's basically an explorer which is saying where do you want to start creating your first document. Now right now you can see I'm using iCloud, which I will talk about in a second. But let's just say we want to create a document on some other folder. Let's just say in a download folder. So when I click on that, it will take me to the download folder, and this is where I can create a document by simply clicking on new document. And also if I go back to iCloud, and it has a folder named Pages where all my documents will be here. Now the benefits of creating a document in iCloud is because you would be able to access this document in iCloud as well. So Apple has iCloud.com where you can work on Pages, Keynote, and Numbers, and bunch of other applications on the browser. So let's say even if you switch your application to Windows or a Linux computer, you will still be able to access all your documents. Whatever you created in Pages, you will be able to modify them, use them. So right now we are going to first of all create a new document in the folder Pages. So I'm going to click on new document, and once I click on new document, here I will see this window. Now here I have basic options, which gives me a blank page, a blank landscape page, and note-taking page. And also I have a lot of templates available as well. For example, if I want to create some sort of report, I will have a template which I can use and modify the text, and that will make me write my template very easily because it's already set up. So if I click on the reports, it only shows me reports template. For example, we have this project proposal template, a modern report template, we have a research paper template, essay, term paper, and bunch of others. Similar to reports, we have a stationery template. So let's say it's a classic letter. If you are writing an email and you want to create a document for that, then you can use this classical letter, modern letter, business letter. So all of the templates are available here. Now also with that, if I just scroll down by clicking on all, it will show me all the templates, all the categories, and here I can choose whatever I want. So we have some templates for business cards as well. So if you want to design a simple basic business card, for example, let's take a look one of the business card templates. So if I get bold type business card, and I click on that, double click on that, and there you go. So here I have all the cards. I will just basically double click on that and start writing and modify this business card. But now you'll probably be seeing a lot of options here. Don't worry, we go through each of the options you need to know to get started with Pages. So right now I'm going to close this. So on the Mac, you know that we have all the menus on the top. So in the file menu, we have an option close. Shortcut key for that is Command W. So I'm going to click on that to close that document. Now also I need to open Pages. It's already open, but we need to create a new document, right? None of the document is open right now. So we go File menu and then click on New shortcut key for that is Control N. Let's click on that, and here we're going to look at all the templates briefly. For example, we have some certificates templates. So here you want to publish a certificate to someone, you can use built-in template, newsletter, miscellaneous, and also we have resumes. So a lot of us write our resumes after finishing a degree or finish any kind of diploma. So we need a template for resume. This is great. All right, but for now, let's go and look at the basics of this software first. I'm going to click on basics, and I'm going to start with the blank template. So click on the blank and then click on choose, or I can double click on the blank template. Let's click on choose and follow the tradition. I'm going to make it maximize. Right now we can see we have one page which is blank right now, and also let me go through some of the menus first. Let's go to the file menu. Click on the file menu. Here we have some basic option. If you are familiar with Word or VPS document processor or LibreOffice, you will have all these basics options there. For example, here we have open to open a document, we have a close to close, we have save to save. We want to create a duplicate of a document, you can simply click on duplicate, and this works similar to save as. In the Windows, in the Microsoft Word, you will find an option for save as. So Apple tried to have something different here, so it named duplicate instead of save as. And then we have a rename for renaming documents. We can move to our documents, revert, export. Now export option is pretty great in Pages because obviously Microsoft Word also offers you a lot of options to export a document, but here you can see you can basically create a PDF out of your Pages document. You can create a Word document. So the Microsoft Word has an extension called .doc. So if you are going to use this document and then you want to open this document in Microsoft Word, you can simply export it in a Word format and then you can use it. So you're not missing out. It's not that if you use Pages to create a document, it will be only for Pages. No, you can export it. We have a plain text, we have a rich text format, EPUB. EPUB is really good. EPUB is a standalone format for online books. So you can write your book right being in the Pages, and you can export that into EPUB. We have a Pages 09. There was an old version for Pages which file are not compatible with the newer version of Pages, so we have an option to export for the old. Now we have an option for set password, which is great. It's built into Pages, so sometimes you want to set a password for your documents, you can do that as well. And also once you create a document, you adjust your document with tables, with charts, with the text, with shapes. You can set that as save as a template. We have some basic printing option, page setup. Edit has all the general options: undo, redo, cut, copy, paste, paste and match style, deselect all. So we'll go through all of these in a second. Now let's say how we start writing here. Now I have this page here. If I click on that, I can see the arrow. So we have a blinking cursor. That means our cursor is there. So if I type here, hello YouTube, right? That means it's going to start typing from there. Now what we are typing is configured on the right here. So this panel on the right has all the settings for your text. For example, if you want to increase the size of the text, you want to make it bold, you want to make it italic, you want to have an underline of your text, you can do all the configuration here. But first, let's have some kind of paragraph here, and then we will modify that. Alright guys, so I have pasted some text in Pages, and we're gonna start modifying that text and make it look like a nice article. So for now, let's go some of the basics option in the format panel. So on the right, we have a text, and then we have a style for that text. So let's say if I take my cursor here, it will tell me what style of the text I'm using. So if I click on this body, and I can have a drop down which will give me title, subtitle, heading, heading 2, heading 3. If I click on this arrow, it has some more options. You can delete the style, you can rename your style, Or you can create your own styles as well by taking your cursor in some weird text and then going here and then say, okay, I want to create this paragraph style. We'll talk about that in a second. The next option we have is a font. So we have options to select the font. So all the fonts are installed in your Mac will be visible here. Now the default font is pretty good and can be used in such kind of articles pretty great. So we leave that. Then we want to have this italic, ultra light and thin light. But first, before we go here, I want to take you guys here. So the first line is supposed to be a heading. So I'm going to go and select this. So now let's look at how we can select a text. You can do that by many and several ways. So if I click here and then click again and then drag my cursor, you see the highlighted text. That means that text is selected. Now, I'm pretty sure that you will be able to select the text because all of you, if you're in a school, they teach you Microsoft Word or some kind of a word processing software. Now, if I take my cursor here, that's a cursor, right? And if I press Shift and then arrow right or arrow to left or down, and anything which comes inside the cursor will be selected as well. Now, there's other option as well. So if I press Option, that will select that again. If I press Command, that will select again. Control will be do the same thing. So yeah, that's pretty much very simple to add text to a selection. Now we want to double click on this line, triple click actually, that will select the whole line. And then we want to go and here I want to give it this a title. I'm going to click on that and that becomes title, which I find it's very long, very big, so I don't like that. So I want to give it heading 2 or maybe heading. Heading is good enough. Now if I take it here and let's just say if I change the style to, let's just say we change this font to something like this one, right? Now it says star next to the heading. That means that this style is been modified. It's no more default style. So if I click on this arrow button here, I can just create a new paragraph style and I can name it heading 1, which have all of these settings stored in that. So this is about heading. Next we have a font. To select the font and then we can select whether it's going to be a bold or italic or heavy. So we want to have it's heavy, we can do that as well. And also what of the text is in that cursor, the word will get that style applied. To get that, I'm going to just select this. Now right now we're selecting two styles. I want to go and select heading and then I will go and change this to heavy. Now as you can see, it says this style heading 1 is being updated. Do you want to update the original style? I'll click on update, that will be updated. Now this is pretty cool now. Next we can just make this a bit zoom in. I can go to view and then I can click on zoom and then I can say okay, width, and that will zoom in our article, which is easier to see now. Okay, so next let's go quickly. We have a character styles which we can choose from. Let's say a link, emphasis, strike through, underline, red. So if I select this line, I want to make it look like it's not used here, it's a strike through. Select that and that will be strike through. Next we have some alignment options. So right now this is the date and the guy who wrote this article, which is a James Birdman. He wrote on 3rd November 2014. So I can make this in the center. So if I just click on here or anywhere in this line and I can go to the alignment, I can click on align center and that line will be aligned center. I can align this to right and I can do the justify as well. So what does justify means? Justify means if I have something here, let's just say we create a shape here. I'm going to click on shape and just click on this shape. And as you can see, that text is just getting justified. All right, that text gets justified. Let's select that and delete that for now. All right, so next we have some indentation here. So let's just say I click on this. I'll say, okay, just do a tab, and this works with the tab as well. But if you want to use the tab, you're gonna have to make sure you take your cursor, the starting position of the line, and then press tab. Right there you go. So we'll make it center by clicking on this align center, and now it's basically aligning center according to the indentation we give. So if I click on this and make it indent 0, that will be a center, because the point which where 0 x value and 0 y value starting, that gets changes by using this indentation. We have some spacing option as well. So if I just select these two lines, and I can just give, okay, I want to give a bit better spacing here. So if I say 2.0, and that spacing will be increased. So now we have 2.0 centimeter spacing within these lines, with these two lines. So if you want to have a spacing by default, then you can go all the way down, and we can say, okay, I want to give spacing to 2.0 double, and then that will be updated. So I'll just say hey, 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 and then as you can see, it's writing with a space. So we'll just go and delete this weird text, and then also I'm going to go and make it single space. Okay. So bullets and number, pretty basic, guys. Sometimes you want to write a list here. For example, this has a bullet and spacing. So if I just select this, and I can get, okay, I want to have these are the bullets available. We have a dash, we have a note taking, we have a bullet, we bullet big, image, lettered, numbered. So let's take a look at a bullet. So let's click on that, and there you go, we have the bullet there. So these were this came in when I just copied the text. So here, first of all, let's just go and move the spacing to single, right? And then we just give a bit of space by clicking here and then moving the article down. All right, so let's just, this is fine. Now we have seen how bullets works. We can try different ones as well. So if I go and say I want to have a note taking, so let's click on that. Let's say note 1, note 2, note 3, note 4, right? So we have a bullets and numbering here. Pretty basic, pretty simple. Next, what's next? Let's go and click on this layout tab. Let's click on that. You see all the options change. We have some more options which we'll talk about, but mainly this is the format panel, which does all about your text and style your text, change your line spacing, and do other bunch of other stuff. Let's take a look at a layout now. Layout basically defines about your whole document. Right now, if I zoom out, let's just try zoom out. We go to view, we go to zoom, and we look at the command. So it says command less than, right? So I'll just use that now. Oops, that will take me there, but that's fine. All right, so now, as you can see, this whole document has one row and one column. Now, what's going on if I change this to 2 column? And there we go. So we have a 2 column document now. The column has 2 documents. We can even define the size for that. So if I say 3 centimeter, press enter. And now as you can see, that column is set to 3 centimeter. And the second one is a 3 centimeter as well. So all change. We have a gutter for 11 centimeters. So I'll just say 1 centimeter is a gutter, and that will change this to 8 centimeter back column, right? So sometimes in the books you see 2 column layout. You can create that with that. Now this was happening because we have this option checked in, equal column width. I'll uncheck that, and I want to make the second column to, let's just say, 10 centimeter, right? And then that one becomes 6 centimeter automatically, because the whole width of the document is 16 centimeter. And here I can give a gutter now. So let's say 5 centimeter gutter, and there you go. It's a huge gutter here. Gutter means the spacing between this text, this word, and this word guides, right? That's a gutter. Now we will have 2 columns, but we want to have a gutter of 1 centimeter. And then I want to have this to be, let's just say, 8 centimeter for both columns. That looks nicer. Okay, now here I have indent. So here we can define for indentation for the first column as left and right as well. Tabs basically defines the decimal character and default spacing for your document. So for example, right now from this forward to onwards, this is basically a default spacing. So if I go and change this to make it lower, and then I'll just select the text. Sorry, I need to select the document, so which we will come back to it. Now let's just do about border and rules. This is a spacing, top, left, right, and we can do that as well. So right now we have this border, and then I'm just gonna remove this line. Actually, it actually applied that, so we said none. We can select none. So basically these are the border and rulers. So wherever your cursor is, that line will be drawn. So if I take and then make a line here, and I'll just say none, I'll take a line, and that line will be drawn here. So that's a border and ruling. We have a paragraph background color as well. So let's just say we give this color, that will become this color at the background. So let's just say you want to have some kind of a nice color here. So I'll just select this article. Oops. And then we have some sort of color, let's just say orange color. There you go. And then after that we can select this, and also we go to style, and then here I can just change the color to white. That looks much better, right? So let's go to layout and let's try finishing this. Okay, layout done. More, basically it will tell you what's going on here. It keeps lines on the same page. Yep, that's fine. We want to have unchecked, keep with the next paragraph. That's fine. Basically it's a pagination, so when you go to the next page, these options is applied there. Okay, now the basic stuff of pages is done. Now let's go through some of the options which are not very basic. And here we remove this. All right, so now we're gonna start from edit menu. Edit menu is where you will do some editing to your text. For example, I'll come back to this article, and then we go down and create a new page. So here we go to new page, or maybe we can just go to layout and change the column to one column. That will make our life easier. Now, for example, if I say, okay, hey, what's your plan for tonight? Now, let's just say if I type this and I want to undo that. So I want to make sure that whatever the mistake I've done, if I realize that this is a mistake, then I can just simply go to edit menu, and shortcut key is Command Z, and I click on undo, and that will analyze what's wrong I've done, where I stopped. Basically it's a time interval. So let's just say I'll go hey, and I stop, and I say what, and I stop, and I say hey, what, right? Now if I press Command Z, can you give a guess at what is going to get undo? Is it going to remove the whole line, or it is going to just remove only the what word, or it's going to remove hey? Let's look at that. So if I just say Control Z, and as you can see, it actually removed the whole line. So I'll just go again, hey, 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 right? And then we give space and just wait a second, and then say what is going on. And I press Control Z, and that all the line is gone because it's a time interval. By using pages more and more, you will realize how much undo it's gonna do. Let's go to the next option. We have simply paste match style. So for example, if I will go and just say, right, copy this line, Control C, actually Command C on a Mac, and I'll say, okay, I want to paste this. So if I just say paste, it's going to paste that the whole with the style as well. So I'll just remove that text, and then I'll say, okay, paste and match style. Paste and match style, it does that as well. So here I'm going to select this line, all right, and then I'm going to go and paste and match style, and there you go. So we still got this how to become a developer without a degree, and it actually did not use this heading 1 style. The reason why, it went inside and look around the closest style it realizes, that's when it applies to that text, so, which is a good option. So I'm going to press Command Z to undo. We will select all option, deselect all, select all, click on that. It will select all the text in your document, on all the spaces as well, like empty spaces here. If you have selected all or any of the text, we can say edit and deselect all. So you're not going to be using these menus a lot because you're going to be making your workflow faster by using these shortkeys. So Command Shift A. Track changes, we'll talk about that in a second. Find, spelling, grammar, substitution, transform, and speech. All right, let's go with the find. So for example, if I want to search of something in my document, let's say my document is about 50,000 words and I want to go with a word which is a developer. So I'll go and say, I want to find a developer available in my document. So right now we can see we have a developer at 2 places, right here, and then we have a developer here. And I'm not sure if any developer word are available in these paragraphs. So let's go up, and then I'm going to go to edit, and let's click on find, and the shortcut key is Command F. Command G is find next, and Command previous is Shift Command G. So we'll say find. Now we have this panel where we can type the text which we want to find. So I'll say developer, right? And I'm gonna just wait a second, and it's gonna give me if there is a developer word there. So how it works, if I leave my cursor after this developer, I'll leave my cursor here, right? And I'll press Command F, and I'll say developer, then it is going to find the next occurrence. So if I say developer, and now it did not find this, it actually highlighted this developer. So let's just say I want to find a previous one. So I'll say Command G, and then it will find me a developer, the first one. Command G, Command G, Command G, Command G. So it will find me the next occurrence of a developer. So if I say Command Shift G, it will find me the previous one, previous one, previous one. And if I say Command G only, that will find me a developer, and the next occurrence. Pretty simple. Now here we have a find and replace. Okay, so if I in a setting, I can switch between find and replace, whole words, match case. So I'll say find and replace. Now if I want to change all the developers in my document, I can change that to, let's just say software engineer, right? And I want to change that engineer only on a couple of developer words. So I can choose to replace. So what if the current occurrence of a developer in my document is selected, which in this case, this one, developer, if I click on replace, it will be replaced. Now if I want to replace all the words in my documents available which has the character developers, a string of characters named developer, if I say replace, as you can see, it will replace that to engineer, and it goes to the next one. And if I get, okay, Command G, find the next one. If you are confused why am I pressing Command G, it's because here, if I go find, and I say, okay, find next, that's a Command G shortcut key for that. Alright, so if I click on replace, that will be replaced as well. Now we have some occurrence available. I'm going to press Command G to find the next one. So this is where we have a next one. But this time I'm going to click on replace all. So click on replace all, and all the word developer will be changed to engineer. Alright, that's the cool thing about it. So we understand replace all, replace, and find replace is basically if we change this to, let's just say AEDT, which is a time, and I'll say click on find and replace. So you don't have to go and find this and then click on replace again. So it's just one less step. It will just find it and replace it automatically as well. Cool. Alright, so the next thing we want to learn is a few other options, spelling, grammar. So basically it's just an option for check spelling, check document, check spelling. So right now, if you have written some wrong spelling for some words, for example, I will go and change banana, right? Press spacebar and it's a right spelling, so I'll just say banana. Now it should give me an option. It's not, so right now here we have some sort of blue line is here. So basically what happened if I type something in my mother language, it's like kya kar rahe ho, it means what are you doing. Now it basically did not change that, but let's just go and say spelling and grammar, show spelling and grammar, click on that, and that will take me to this kanban, this word. I'll say okay, find next, next. I'm gonna just ignore this word. So change, find next. What I'm gonna do is not working because our cursor was there, so we have to go back and just do again. So he said check document now. It will check all the document. It will highlight whatever is wrong in my document. So it's the kanban is the wrong, which is not an English word. Right, so this was ignored as actually, that's why it didn't show, because I used pages, so I just ignored that English word. Basically it wasn't English, but it was in my language. Right, so here we have a transform, make lowercase and make capital lace. So for example, if we go and say let me just remove this text as well. So let's just select it by shift and then we'll go down. I will type here in, let's just say in heading, yeah, that's fine. So I'll say I'm going to change this to uppercase, right? So let's select this and then go to edit and then go transform and click on make uppercase, and that text will be changed to an uppercase. We can change this to lowercase as well. We go to transform and click on make lowercase. There you go. And then we have a capitalized. Let's go and check it out. Capitalized. So every first letter of word will be capitalized. All right, so what's next? We got some start dictation emojis, and well, this is just the fun part. We have some images we can add to a document. There you go. We got an emoji. So you can always go, let's just say command option space. Nope, it was not that shortcut key, so it's shift command space. There you go. Nope, not this one. What's going on? Right, this is the one. So that's on the Mac is control command and space. So I take my cursor here and I say okay, command control space images. So I have a bunch of images available, which is default. You get this in the iPhone, you get this in Android phone. These are the general images that can be used and cross-platform as well. So if you type an emoji here in Microsoft Word, that would be there. It won't be changed, right? So let's just have a smiley face here instead of that weird character. So I'm just going to go all the way up. Oops. Let's just remove this. Let's get to smiley face. This is the one recently used. There you go. That's a smiley face there. Well, it wasn't there. The reason why we have a different style, that's why. So we're going to make sure that we have a proper smile there. Okay, style there actually. All right, we got the smiley there. Now, up till this point, we have seen edit, we have seen start dictation. Let's do that. Well, that's basically if you want to say, okay, I want to type something by speaking, that will be a dictation, right? So I don't want to do it because I'm using the microphone right now. No, it's working actually. So let's do that. Let's go all the way down. And here I'm going to start speaking. Hi, how are you? And I will click on here. All right, so that's a dictation. That will let you write your essay by talking through it. Insert. Now we're going to talk about these options: insert, table, charts, and stuff, or more stuff here. So insert has all the options where you want to add your images, you want to create tables, charts, text boxes, shapes, lines, highlight, comments, and bookmarks. All of these options are available here. Let's quickly go through with these as well. Let's go to the section. Now here we can create multiple sections. Section is mainly means that a new page. So in Microsoft Word, it will be, let's say, create a new page, but here we call this a section. Page break, section break, column break. So, well, let me give you a demo. So if I click here, I'll go and click on column break, and that from there, wherever the cursor was, it will break the column. So right now we have, in a layout, we have selected one column. That means it has to go to the next section. It will break the column from there. And we can give it a try here as well, but don't worry about these for now, because these are pretty similar options. You can just go ahead and try them out instead of me wasting time here and explaining some basic stuff. We want to jump into some advanced stuff now. So basically here we have a page numbers, count, date and time. So let's just say I'll go and come down here. I'll say insert date and time. It will type the today's date, and not the time, but today's date. So here it's 17 March 2017, actually 18, my bad. Nah, no, it's 2018. Page count, well, this is the page third. That's why it's we can write that there. So it's automatically, if we just select all and say, okay, insert all the page count, it will do that. Now let's say table of content. Now if you are trying to create a PDF out of this document, let's say when you export to PDF, that will have some sort of a content there. So if I go and ng-book, and I'll go open this book, it's an AngularJS book. Now at the left you see this table of content. Now this is basically the reason why we can see this table of content in this PDF is because whoever used Pages or Microsoft Word or any other word processing software, he actually defined the table of content. So if I go and say, okay, it's a document table of content, and I'll say, oh, this is the one table of content, and when we export this will become a table of content. That will make it easier to generate a PDF with the same sort of functionality. Right guys, so let's go quickly. Tables, we will do tables from the front end, not from these options now. So let's go and click on insert. Insert has all of these options which we have in the start, like these ones, right? And then we have some footnote, equation, link, equation. Let's look at the equation. So here, I'm not sure how to define equations here, but if I say 5 plus 5, and I'll say insert, and I'm not sure how to do it, so I've never used it, so don't worry about it guys. If you really want to learn equations, then you probably have to search online, and this tutorial is targeted to basic user anyway. Right, so next we have insert. We have a table option, so we can create a table here. So let's just say I'll click on table, and I want to create some sort of nice table. This one is fine. I'll click on that, and that will create a table. As you can see, once I'm in a table, by clicking here, now I have a different panel here. So in this panel, this gets modified, this gets changed as well. So if I click on table, that's a table panel here. If I take it out, if I go to the text, that panel will disappear. So we have to click and select the table to see table and cell and arrange panel. So this panel gets changed depending on what kind of a content you have selected. So here, if I've selected this table, I can easily go and change this style. I can select this style later on. So let's say if you have done all your table, you have written all your text data in the table, and later on say, oh my god, I wanted to have a different colors, then don't worry, you can do that in Pages, very simple. So here we can create a new style according to current. So if I select this and I go to cell, and I'll just say, okay, fill color would be red, and I can go back and then change the style and create my own one. So I'll just delete this style for now. I click on this, and that style will be created, but I will have to select this whole row, and then we go to the table and then click on this, change this to green color. It did not change. The reason why it didn't change, because I didn't select the proper one. It's a table and outline, so we don't really worry about that for now. We want to go to cell, and here we want to change this cell color to, let's just say, green, and let's just close this, select the whole lot. All right, let me select all lot, and then go and change this to purple. And then we have a fill option. For filling, we can go here and say yellow, or we can say blue, or we can say pink. So you can modify the table, create your own style, and you can add that as a style for the future use. So you probably understand the tables already. We have columns and rows in table. So we have one row, and from top to bottom it's called a column. So basically we have all the styles for the tables here. For example, I'll just remove this table. Let's just delete this table. And then let's just go and create a new table, this one. And now let's see what we have here. So here we have a header footer. So we can have multiple header footer in the table as well. So you see this style has been changed. We have some sort of option for the top header. So we can make it 3, right? Then I can go back to 1. We have a bottom, which is a footer. We can define a row, which will have a table name. I can say data about programmers, right? And then after that, we are going to look at the table font. We can change, make it bigger or smaller. Cool, right? Table outline. So right now, outline is set to this. So if I set to this line, you probably won't be able to see that because it's very small. So if I change the size and make it bigger, and there you go. Now we can see the outline. Table outline is this one. So default table style, we have this line there. We have this dots line. And the size goes to default once we change that. So you can change the color for that as well. There you go. So you can modify the table. We have some grid lines. So right now you can see in the table we have colors and we have the grid as well. Let me select that. And if I click on this, it will unselect the grid line. I unselect this, unselect this, and this, and this, right? Now, these grid lines are basically the main grid lines, right? I'm not able to deselect them because the default one. But in the middle, you can see we're not able to see the grid lines anymore. So if I check this, and these 2 lines come back, you see these, right? These basically modifying the table. Well, these are the properties for the whole table, but if you want to modify just a particular cell, like I selected this cell here, I can go to the cell tab and do, let's just say I want to fill a gradient color, and then I can change this to this gradient color, or I can change this to this gradient color, or I can make it look like image fill. So I have to select the image, so I click on this, choose an image, I'll go where my images is, so I can go to Dropbox, and then I'll say this image, which is my JavaScript course, guys, and this is not going to come inside because the image is too big, and that's why we're not able to see that. Okay, but image is there, so we can have like a stretch. There you go. We have a scale to fit, right? There you go. There's the image in the table. All right, so these are some basic option in images. Sorry, for cells. We have a option for a particular cell. So for example, this is a cell, and I want to remove the border for that. So if I click on this border, and you can see now I can select this border and I can change the size just particularly for that, right? So if I go and change this to this line, and that's just changing this. If I select the whole, and I can do something like full modification to just a cell, okay? All right, so next is the back to text. Arrange. Arrange is similar to, let's just say we have a different components on each other. For example, if I take this and move this table, let's just say we move this in the middle here, right? Now, as you can see, the table is in the middle and the text actually moved, right? So if I select that and I'll say stay on the page, right? And now the text is basically very close to that. All right, so text is very close to that, and actually text is getting hidden at the back. So if I just say okay, text is very hidden. Now if I click on back or front or backwards, this thing won't work because here we have a text wrap and it says above and below wrap the text. If I say none, then as you can see, we can see the text under the table. So text is not getting wrapped according to this table. So here we have some options. We have around. Around means if the table goes up and down, the text will move automatically. We have some spacing for that, alpha. We can send back, front, backwards, which we'll talk about when we have more components in there. Sizing is there for changing. So let's say if here, I will paste that. Now the text is just starting very close to this table. So I can select the table and I can just say, okay, height, which should be more, right? So have more height for the table, size for the table, as you can see. And you could change this by dragging these vertices as well. Then we have some rotate option. Don't worry about this, not very useful. We can lock the table. So now I cannot move this table. This is locked, right? So as you can see, once you're done with your data, then you can basically lock it, so in case you fear to move this by mistake. So unlock this. All right, the tables are done. Next, we have some chart options. Now, sometimes you will have to have some kind of a charts in your document. So you can do that as well. So let's go down and let's create a simple chart. This chart is pretty good. Now I'm going to select the chart and we have some options for the chart here. There you go. And then we have a gap, we have a background color, we have a shadow. So I'll select this inside and then we have a series. Now here we can have some values. For example, for this value label, we can say, okay, currency, and then it will show the currency here. So here we have some kind of a prefix, suffix. This is all some advanced stuff. So right now it's Australian dollar. I can have this Singapore dollar. Let's go back to Australian dollar and we have a prefix. We can do that as well. So some text before the dollar sign, suffix .00, and we have a suffix for that as well. Location, we can give it like in the middle. That's fine. Or we can just do outside. Right, there you go. That looks much better. We can remove the suffix here. And then we have some decimal as well. So let's just say we don't want to have a decimal. We want to remove the suffix there. All right, now we just have a $96. Now this basically it's 0 to 100. As you can see here, I just want to make it down. So right now we have 0 to 100. Now if I select one of these, right, and I will just move this down. Oops, it's not going down, so we'll just take it down, all the way down. Let's just take it down. Now we have region 1 and region 2. Now here, once you select that, I will say market, and I can say value, right? So market has this currency value label, which is, let's just say, we can create a scientific fractions as well, guys. So there's a lot of things you need to explore. Trend lines, we can have this different kind of trend lines here. So if you're an engineer, you understand this, you'll probably be able to get this. Now, basically, we have a different kinds of chart, have different options. They're cool, different colors. We have some 3D charts that you can apply. Let's just remove this chart, right? And then let's just go to chart and let's try a 3D one. There you go. That's much better. So I'll select that. We go to A6 series. This is a little bit advanced that I don't want to go through in details, but here we have some options for 3D. So Y value and X category. So Y value, let me just go and change this to see this. This is 3D. This is basically changing the orbit, and this is called an orbit that you can move. So here we have April, May, June. So I can select these and we can change this to, let's just say, currency, and then we can make it, let's just say, outside, right? And then also we have a chart option where we'll go in a 3D scene. 3D scene is something like you want to have a depth, as you can see here. That's depth. We have lighting effects here, glossiness, right? That looks much better. We have a gap option, we have a shadow option, and then we have some columns for the chart. So here we can have a pie. There you go. We have a bar. Basically, all the options we have here it available here as well. We can change the chart type directly being in the chart with all the values. So once you define a chart, you change the values, you configure your chart, make it dynamic, and after that you say, oh, I don't like this chart. Don't worry, you don't have to start from scratch. You can simply go and change the chart type here. All right, let's move on. Let's go to text. Text is pretty simple. This is just a text box with all the options, what we have already talked about. If not, then go explore, which should be fine. Next option, we will have a shape. Shapes are great. We have animals, nature, food. So let's just say any shape you want to define into your project. Let's say you are doing a research on some kind of fruit or in general fruit, or you have some education. Let's just say education. So you're reading a book, so you want to write about that book, then you can just simply go open book, and then I'll just make it stay here. I can move this, right? So you gotta click on that, select it, and just move that. And here we have the position. You can define X value for the position and Y value for the position as well. There's other options. For example, if we have another shape like this, and right now it's just on the top of that book, I'm gonna delete this, try getting a different shape here. So let's just say we'll grab one of these here, and right now this is basically coming on the top of that book. So if we want to push it back, let's just go and first change the color of this. How do we change the color? We go to style and we're going to change this to red. Now if I take this to the book, you can see it's on the top of the book. Let's say you want to bring it back, or you want to push it back and bring the book to the front. So we click on that, we click on arrange, and we'll say go back. Now the book is on the top. Even though we select this and then move this, it will never be on the top of the book unless you go and change this to front. So that's about it. And here we shapes. We got a lot of shapes that we can deal with. Media, pretty simple, guys. You want to add some kind of a photo, so you will click on media and then you go select the photo from your computer for your Mac, and then you can just drag and drop there. Pretty simple. Command, if you want to have some sort of a command, let's just say I am teaching pages, right? That will be there, right? It wouldn't be visible inside a document, but it will be there if you export to the PDF or EPUB. It's like a dynamic text which are not visible unless you click on that, and that will come back, right? This is cool. Now let's go to some of the advanced options which are pretty important. Collaboration is available, so let's go and click on collaboration. And a collaboration means that if you are working on one of the project that you have other people working on and you're writing a document with a collaboration to others, so you can do that as well. In Pages, it's pretty great. So here we can see that we can send or share the document with messages or with copy link. So I'm just going to remove this. I'm going to go to collaborate again. We have option to share this document using airdrop, Facebook, Twitter, copy link. It's basically a link, so people with that link can come to iPages, would come to Pages and then modify this document as well. Let's quickly look at some export options. So this is a document. I'll click on export and click on PDF. And PDF has some options which we will select to better quality, best quality, or good quality. Well, good quality is pretty good. Then you can choose PDF and then click on next. And then it will ask you where do you want to save this. So I will go and save this on a desktop. And I'll say Pages tutorial and export, and that file will be exported. Now I'll just go and look at the desktop and I'll just double click on that, and there you go, we have a document. Now let's go and quickly learn a bit more about this iPage, and not iPage, actually Pages. Why am I keep saying page, iPage? Right, so we pretty much covered everything. We can see we have a collaboration option. Now here we have some format panel and we have a document panel. Document panel describes the properties of your document. For example, what type of paper you're using. We're using A4. We can change this to US legal, US letter, or A4 is a standard paper in the world. So we should be using A4 because when you go to the printer, 99% of the paper will be A4 inside your printer. Here we have a footer option. So for example, I'm going to remove the header. So let's just remove the header and we go all the way front. We can remove the footer as well. And then we have some landscape style, portrait, mainly settings about your document. You can look at it as well. Alright guys, so now the last thing, when we save a project or save a document, right now I saved this document in iCloud. So I was talking about iCloud as well. Now I'm going to take you to the iCloud and I'm going to just close this Safari, and I copied the document from here. So let's just go on iCloud.com. Let me just go and say iCloud.com, and then I will have the front page for that. So here, this is my Apple ID. Now, one thing I want to mention, that iCloud is for free for everybody, even though you are not owner of any Apple product, for example, Mac or iPhone or iPad, you can still use iCloud, which will give you email, which will give you Pages, Keynote, and numbers. And we have some other options as well, like Cloud Drive and stuff like that. You can use that as well. So anyone you share a link for your Pages document, they don't have to own a Mac. They don't have to be on a Mac. They can simply click on that, and that will take them to a web browser where they can come and basically be a participant to your document. So if I go to Pages and I want to open the page I just created in the browser, so it says I'm loading. It's give me some what's new in Pages, shape library, threaded comments, and all that stuff. Now here, as you can see, we have one document, recent document, which was on the desktop application. So this is a desktop application, but this is a cloud application for Pages. So you still know. So if I click on browse, it will show me this untitled, right? This because I am on an iCloud, so iCloud Drive. So if I go back to, let's just say we go to iCloud.com, and here we have this drive. For you probably use Google Drive, you probably use OneDrive. So Apple has this iCloud Drive where you can upload your documents, your images, photos, and all that data. You can upload. This is hosted on cloud. So here it actually creates a folder named Pages, which has the icon right in front of it. And this is where you download or save all the documents. And Pages does automatically try to create a document in the iCloud Drive because they want it to be accessible anywhere in the world using web browser and the internet. So if I go to Pages, I can see the document there, Untitled, right? It's there. So right now I can double click on it and I can start working on that while being in the iCloud in the web browser. So it's pretty great if you're using a Mac. You don't want to spend amount of money that you will spend on Office. So if I say Office for Mac, I'll go and search online, which will get me to Microsoft website, and here I will see the price for that. So here we have $129 per year for a home user. We don't really have a standalone product anymore, so you have to buy a subscription, which is basically paying because you're going to keep paying. You never own the software. But the best thing about Apple, once you buy a Mac or iPhone or iPad, it gives you Pages for mobile, for a Mac, which is a desktop version of iPad, which we just learned. So it's free of cost. So we buy a Mac, you get Pages, you get Keynote, you get numbers. So you don't really have to spend that much money on Office, because for student, for worker, for offices, wherever you go, you have to have, I don't need help, go away. So you have to have a Microsoft Word or Numbers or Pages or Excel, all those software, right? You need to have them into your computer to work with. But you don't want to spend $200 on the top of your computer. So you buy a Windows computer, which costs you maybe $2,000, and you buy Office for that, which costs another $200, which is a lot of money. So Mac gives you for free, and that's about this, guys. And just to mention, Apple is not sponsoring this video, so it's just me showing you some Apple softwares. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video, and make sure you subscribe.